Hi guys, and welcome to another player episode of the Chasing Pars Golf Podcast. Where in this episode, I'm joined by recent DP World Tour card holder, Robin Williams. Robin Tiger Williams. I got that wrong. But Robin from South Africa, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, Craig. Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. We should have a lot of fun today just to kind of get general chit chat and the golf as well. So I'm looking forward to it.
I do apologise for forgetting that illustrious middle name you have. That was obviously a mistake, but obviously, I mean, obviously, Robin Tiger Williams. You're named after Tiger Woods, obviously. How did that come about?
Yeah, I've actually asked my parents this a lot of times. But yeah, obviously, I was born in 2001, so Tiger was the biggest thing, whether it was in sport, whether it was in the world in general, he was the biggest thing. So I think, and plus my dad also he played cricket and golf. So I'm not sure why in the church when I got baptized that they decided to name me Robin Tiger Williams. And I come from a small town just outside of Stellenbosch, South Africa. So the town probably has not even 3,000 people in it. So the whole vibe when the pastor kind of came out and said Robin Tiger Williams, it was a little, why can you name your son after an animal and stuff like that. So I think they probably hoped that I would get into golf, and then luckily, I chose golf to kind of be my life and to pursue it into something. So I guess it all worked out.
I mean, for someone that doesn't follow golf, when you have to explain every single time that your middle name is named after the most successful golfer of all time, that must be tiresome at times. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it is. But no, it's for me. I look at it as a blessing. Like I'm just honored to be named after someone that I look up to, and billions of people look up to in the world. What he's done for the game of golf, whether it's more tournaments, sponsorship, viewership, all that stuff, like getting people into golf. He was the reason why all the top names is playing today. You wouldn't see them today if he didn't inspire them. So, like to be named after him is just a blessing. I hope I can do 0.1% of what he's done in his career. I think I'll be very happy then.
And while we're on the Tiger topic at the minute, you played in the 2018 Junior Ryder Cup at Golf Disneyland in Paris for the European side. We'll get into that in a little bit, but you managed to actually meet the greatest of all time, Tiger Woods, when you were there. What was that experience like for you? Obviously, being such a massive fan of Tiger as well. Was there any like, oh, I'm really nervous about meeting Tiger?
Yeah, it was super cool. So what like I think that was on the Thursday and they start on the Friday, the Ryder Cup. And we were warming up because we got to play six of the holes on the Golf National in Paris, which was super super cool. Not just inside the ropes, but to actually get to play the course hours before they begin on the next day. And then we're warming up the range, and we've already met like basically all the players from both sides. And they kind of call everybody from the American side and the European side. And we all kind of stand in the line on the putting green, and then it's obviously the week before he won the Tour Championship in America, so the hype was back to probably what it was in his heyday. And as he's coming around the stadium, you just hear these cheers and this roar and stuff. And he comes on the buggy, and he comes around and shakes everybody's hand, and they kind of push me to the very end of the line, so he shakes my hand last. And that moment I'll remember for the rest of my life. It was so cool because I've grown up watching him basically just on YouTube, and obviously some live golf, but I never saw him in his actual heyday, his prime, only on YouTube with his greatest hits or a montage of what he's done through the years. So that was such a cool moment to share with him. That, what was it, 20-30 second conversation we had. I don't think he'll remember he remembers me from that moment, but for me, it gave me inspiration to say, look, yeah, it's cool to see someone that I've looked up to, that I'm inspired by every day to work harder to get to the point that I was able to meet him and share a moment with him.
Did he actually remember that your nickname was after him, or
No,
did
no, no.
someone have to
So
tell
I
him?
think it was the Americans manager that kind of shouted it once I said hi, I'm Robin. And then yeah, he was just saying yeah, his name isn't actually Tiger, it's just his middle name, and I was like yeah, mine as well. But no, it was a really really cool moment. Getting goosebumps now just thinking about it.
Yeah. And it's important for listeners to kind of get a sense of that, although you were born in Stellenbosch, Western Cape, South Africa, you did move to the UK, I believe it was 8 years old, is that right?
Yeah, that was probably late 2009, early 2010. We moved over from South Africa, actually to Aberdeen in Scotland. we lived
Oh
there for
no.
we lived there for I believe it was 16 months, and me and my dad we were playing a US kids tournament. I think it was Craigie Law there next to Gullen, and it was in May and it was snowing. And I couldn't get out of the bunker because it's obviously thick with snow and then it's sand underneath. And maybe 10 times I tried to get it out. Nope, couldn't get out of the pot bunker. And then my dad said, yeah, that's enough. We're not living here anymore. And then we moved down to Peterborough, England, and we still live there to this day. My parents are still over there, yeah.
I mean, I was going to say, welcome to Scotland, mate. That's Scotland in a nutshell.
That is, yeah. So I actually first started my golf at the golf course. I played a lot of golf at Royal Aberdeen, in like the Paul Laurie Junior events and stuff like that. And then I'm not sure what the golf course's name that is next to the Aberdeen football stadium. It's
Um,
King something.
I'm not, to be honest. I'm gonna be truthful. I've only been to Aberdeen once, so once
Okay,
in
no,
my
but
life.
there's a
So I
golf
could,
course literally alongside the Aberdeen football stadium.
yeah.
That's where I started my golf, did my first ever coaching and stuff, got my first ever handicaps. So it was cool this year when I went over to play a challenge tour event in Aberdeen. We drove past kind of where we used to live first, and then where I started my golf, and it was kind of a cool moment to kind of see kind of the progression from 8 years old to where I am now. So that was cool. But yeah, living in Aberdeen, yeah, the weather-wise, it wasn't fun, as you know.
So obviously, coming from South Africa to Aberdeen, like, obviously there's going to be a climate shock. But when it comes to trying to understand the Aberdonian accent, that must be 10 times worse than the weather.
Yeah, it was obviously coming from South Africa. My English wasn't fantastic, so yeah, trying to learn kind of to just understand basic words and stuff, and not even just the slang, just the basic words and stuff in school was difficult. But it didn't take me long to kind of get a grip of kind of what in school to kind of get used to, and then my friends with their slangs and stuff as well was quite hard to get used to. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun to kind of experience that at such a young age.
Yeah, like me being from Edinburgh, like even us from Edinburgh and Glasgow, like when it comes to the Aberdonian accent, we're like, what the hell are they saying?
Yeah.
Like even we don't understand. It's a whole
Yeah, yeah.
different country up there.
Edinburgh's not too bad. You can understand that perfectly, but the you drive what is that 2-3 hours north, and it it sounds like a different language.
Yeah, literally, we don't even understand that we live in the same country as them. You know what I mean? Ah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And you currently play at Peterborough Milton Golf Club. Is that right? When did
That
that first come about?
So when we moved down to Peterborough from Aberdeen, when was that? Probably kind of 2012ish, somewhere around there, if I can remember properly. And then because we moved down because of my dad's work, he's a dentist, so he got a better opportunity down in England. And then we were approached, and at the time I think I was 9 years old. And at the time we approached lots of different golf clubs to see for membership and stuff, and everybody was saying, or in the radius that we were living in, kind of 20-30 mile radius, everybody said no, he's too young, his handicap's too high, that we don't have a junior program. And Peterborough is actually our last stop before we were probably gonna, I don't know what we were gonna think about trying to pursue golf. um and that was our last stop. And the junior manager Derek, we spoke with him, and I don't know for what reason he was like, "Yes, why not? Let's go out for 9 holes and kind of get to know him." And I'm guessing he saw something in me um, that he thought was impressive, and it's something that they could use. And then he said, "Yes, we'll happily have you as a junior." And I was the youngest junior there by, I think, was it 5-6 years. So that was funny to kind of play the junior competitions and stuff with the teenagers and stuff. But yeah, I'm so thankful to Peter and Milton, because if they didn't kind of say yes to me that day, I'm not sure I probably would be playing golf, because they gave me the opportunity to still kind of do my craft, to practice, to play with the junior competitions, get used to that. So I'm just thankful for them.
And so, although you have dual citizenship with obviously the UK, and you've recently gone back to using the South African flag since 2023, I believe you were saying off air you do have one more switch available if that became necessary. Is that true? Yeah.
Yeah, so I might be mistaken here, but everybody kind of gets two flag switches, if you will. So obviously, I started my professional career under the English flag, and then I switched over to the South African flag when I got my Sunshine Tour card. When was that? Early 2023, because I was going to play basically 11 months of the year in South Africa, and because I have both passports, it would have benefited me a lot more playing under the South African flags, whether it's through TV, through getting good featured groups, stuff like that, approaching sponsors to help with kind of managing the professional tour life. But yeah, hopefully, as I said off air, hopefully I'll come to a point one day that kind of the Ryder Cup or President's Cup stuff start knocking on the door, and I'll be able to have that decision to be able to say, look, do I want to switch or do I want to stick under the South African flag? But yeah, that's why I made the switch, just because there would be more opportunities at the start of my career under the South African flag, just because I was playing on the South African tour down here.
And obviously, being a part of the South African flag at the minute, you've got like the President's Cup kind of thing. And so when it comes to the President's Cup, right, with the international team against the Americans, it seems to be improving, but it seems to be the same old result when it comes to the US winning. What do you think the international side need to do to finally break that duck?
To be honest, I'm not really sure. I think if you look at it, there's probably not a lot of internationals that play kind of in America, in the States, which obviously, yes, I know they do kind of 1 year in America and then 1 year international, but you can see every time they do play in the States, where the Americans obviously kind of know the style of golf, because in that you can see a little bit the international struggle, because they're not used to that style of play. So I think but you can see, as you said, the record, or the President's Cups that they have had in the past, how many years now, that it's getting closer, because there's obviously a lot more internationals that's playing over there in the States, whether it's South Africans, Koreans, Japanese, all those guys that are on the team. You can see they're getting exposed to that type of golf. That's why I think the competition is a lot more fun to watch. Because if you compare it to the Ryder Cup, a lot of the Europeans, especially these days, play in America. So they're used to that type of play that they need to compete against those Americans. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully one day we'll see a series where the international win a couple in a row, and then maybe then maybe US will have second thoughts, because obviously for a neutral viewer, you want to see like the international side win like maybe one, maybe two, just to kind of, because if US win every single one, it just gets a little bit boring after a while.
Yeah, and in sport, the worst thing that can happen is the results almost determined before even the competition is even close to finishing, and that's been the case with some of the Presidents Cup, where they've just kind of cleaned them up. But I think it was definitely more exciting. When was it, this year, where the internationals kind of sweep them in that second day, and you thought, oh shoot, could this be the time that they actually beat the Americans, and I think the viewership must have definitely gone up and everything. Because of that, you can have now it's an actual fight, an actual battle.
Yeah, and then when it comes to the Ryder Cup, obviously we had that kind of spell of European dominance, but obviously the US took it back at the last Ryder Cup. Yeah, obviously when it comes to the Ryder Cup, it's at Bethpage Black next year, I think. Obviously that might be a little bit too soon, possibly for yourself. But like if you play yourself into contention, and there is a chance to switch back to the English flag, to get into contention for the Ryder Cup, I take it it's something you would massively consider.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that would, as I said, that would be a dream scenario of mine to actually sit down and have to say, oh, shoot, like the Ryder Cup is something that we could achieve one day, because that is, apart from the major championships, in my opinion, that is as close to the pinnacle of golf as you can get. If you're kind of not only in a Ryder Cup team, but especially a winning Ryder Cup team, then you're kind of you're remembered for life, to achieve that goal. And that's obviously been a goal of mine since I started playing golf, watching it on TV and thinking how cool would that be if we're kind of involved in all of that drama and the competition. So yeah, hopefully it will be a decision I get to have one day, but I'm still a long way off from that.
And if anyone's listening and they did pick up on that slight mistake that I made, I didn't mean that for the last US home game that they ended up whitewashing us, and not the last one that we destroyed the Americans and Marco Simone. So yeah, don't attack me, don't come at me. I do apologise. I mean, this is where we'll get all of the stalwart Europeans coming at me and like, why did you make a mistake? Blah blah blah. I hold my hands up. I do apologise. So obviously 2024 was a good year for you. Actually, before I go into that, it's important to say that you won twice on the Sunshine Tour, the 2023 Fortress Invitational. Then, not that long ago in October, you successfully defended your Fortress Invitational title on the Sunshine Tour. Obviously, to go back to back is a very hard thing to do, but I take it once you go back to a place that you've either had success or that you've played well, I take it it's just an easy transition.
Yeah, that was an amazing experience for me, to come back and obviously defend my title in the way I did. Is I'm really, really proud of how I've done that, because I know how difficult it was the first time to get over that line and get that monkey off my back to secure my first win. I know it's on the Sunshine Tour, but winning on any level is not easy. So many things need to go your way. Not only you have to play well, but so many things need to go your way. You need to get lucky breaks. You need to have 4 days where everything kind of just comes together for you, more than it does for everybody else. And I'm not sure what it is about that golf course, Glendower, but it just suits my eye. I've always played well there, and to kind of do it the first time was really cool, but to be able to go back to back that's something that not a lot of people have done on the Sunshine Tour, because it is so tough. But to do it at the same course, which I enjoy as well, is super, super cool, and it's just an amazing experience. But I was just grateful enough to kind of have that opportunity to go back to back, because not a lot of guys get to have that.
I mean, to defeat one of the best kind of Sunshine Tour, like most prolific winners in Daniel Van Tonder. Obviously, when Van Tonder kind of hunts you down, do you feel a little bit uneasy at times? I know he's a pretty prolific winner at that level, but obviously to do battle with DVT, there must have been a good one.
Yeah, that was super fun. We played the first 2 days, well, the first actually 3 days together, because we were kind of feeding off each other, because I think he's won twice this year, come second like 3 times, and third another 3 times. He's had an insane season so far, even before they get to the co-sanction events. So yeah, I knew he was obviously coming in with a lot of form. And the pressure was also on me being the defending champion as well and having a good kind of stretch in Europe as well. So I knew kind of all the eyes were on me, and then to kind of do battle with him was super, super cool, to kind of push each other, to see kind of go birdie for birdie, birdie for birdie. And I know him pretty well as well as a person. He's a super nice guy, and obviously I think he won the SA Open, was it 2021? At Sun City as well. So I knew that the capability he had, and I needed to play some seriously good golf to get it done the second time, much on a different level than what I needed the first time. So yeah, that was super cool, because you don't. There's, in my opinion, there's nothing better than when you have two guys going at it, and you can see we're feeding off each other, we're pushing each other. Like you're actually hoping the guy that actually hits a good shot puts the pressure on you, because can you have the ability to step up and do an even better shot? Can I do the birdie on top of him? And because in my opinion, there's nothing better than because I want him to play at his best. I want him to play as good as he can, and then I still want to beat him. That's just how my mentality has been always. That when I win, I want everybody to play at the best, and then I want to come out on top, because I know then that Pacific week that I've been the best out of all the guys.
Yeah, no, for sure. And for the 2024 season, you got limited starts, obviously, on the DP World Tour, which I believe that you made the cut in every single one of them that you made, which is pretty impressive. And then you split your time between the Sunshine Tour and the Challenge Tour, and obviously the Challenge Tour is co-sanctioned sometimes with the Sunshine Tour. So first of all, how did you find that Challenge Tour season? And then we'll go into the DP World Tour stuff. But obviously, going on to the Challenge Tour, it's a very tough level of competition that you have to play every single week. It's not an easy school to get out of, and obviously to have a good season in the Challenge Tour season, there must have been a good sense of relief for you, I guess.
Yeah, it was super cool. So I obviously played the majority of the 2023 season on the Sunshine Tour, and then what the Sunshine Tour allows is the top 3 at the end of the year, order of merit, get pretty much full DP World Tour cards for the following season. So I was lucky enough to finish second there in the order of merit, which got me a card for this upcoming 2024 season. But it wasn't a great card. Like, I'm not going to play Rolex events. I'm not going to play Wentworth. Probably only maybe playing not even 50% of the tournaments, all the kind of the lower points, the lower money events. So then we decided to go to play in the Challenge Tour, because the co-sanctions we did have in South Africa, I did fairly well in a few of them, to basically earn some sort of status on the Challenge Tour that I can kind of play my way into it. And yeah, the Challenge Tour was so tough. Like, it's going to sound cheesy, but there's a reason why they call it the Challenge Tour. It's in my opinion, you can ask anybody that's played it. It's the most difficult tour in the world. Like, some of the places they put you, the traveling that you need to do, the guys that you're playing are just relentless. Some of the courses are super difficult. Some of them are on mountains and altitude, and learning to drive on the other side of the road, different languages, different cultures, different foods, all that kind of, not only the golf, but all the other aspects of life on tour you have to deal with is so tough. And luckily enough, I think I was able to play 15 or 16 events on the Challenge Tour and made all the cuts. And I think I had 5 top 5s, which was pretty good. So I didn't win obviously, but the consistency was there. I put myself in contention a lot of the times as well. I think 3 times I was either leading the tournament or in a position coming into the last kind of couple holes to win the tournament, which is really cool to kind of get exposure to that. And then was able to not only earn my DP World Tour card from the Sunshine Tour, but I also did it through the Challenge Tour. I think I finished 14th or 15th at the end of the Road to Mallorca rankings, only playing 16 events, not playing kind of the events in China and the final, which was a lot of points, which is, for me, was a really, really cool thing to be able to achieve two different ways, the DP World Tour card, and then because they had obviously co-sanctioned events as well on the Deep World Tour to the Sunshine Tour. I think they had was it 5 events? They normally have SA Open, Joburg Open, Alfred Daniel, and then they had 2 other events in February. The Johnson Workway, and then the STC Open at St. Francis. And luckily enough, I was able to lose in the playoff at the STC at St. Francis, which earned me also some sort of status on the DP World Tour, and then could play a few events on the DP World Tour, the kind of in Europe, in between the Challenge Tours as well.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, 2024, just looking at it, seemed like a very hectic season. Obviously, we'll go into that. We'll go into that playoff loss against Jordan Gumberg at the SDC Championship. Obviously, to have that experience of going toe to toe at the top of the leaderboard on the co-sanctioned DP World Tour events with the Sunshine Tour. Obviously, to be in contention and to have a chance of winning, and then to go into a playoff. The question for me is, like, obviously you played your 72 holes and then you have to play a playoff. What is there anything that you need to kind of what's the word I'm trying to say? Is there a way that you have to adjust to playing extra holes, or do you just kind of go in with the same kind of action all the time?
I mean, for me, I was to be able to put myself in a position to win a DP World Tour event is crazy. Like, I played that whole year on the Sunshine Tour, and luckily enough, we do play an event at St. Francis every year on the Sunshine Tour. So I was very familiar with the golf course. I've always played well there on the Sunshine Tour. And then to kind of experience how different the course was set up from a deep Sunshine Tour event to a DP World Tour. Greens are obviously a lot quicker. They tucked the flags in places I didn't even imagine they could. The rough was a lot thicker. We didn't have great weather as well on the last day. But to kind of put myself in a position to win, and then to go 72 holes, which is already stressful enough, to then go extra holes into a playoff where it's just you and another guy, was really, really stressful. I almost took it as a match play situation, because you're not playing against 156 guys. And all you have to do is just beat the guy that's playing next to you. No matter how ugly or pretty it looks, you just got to kind of figure out how to get it done. And I think we played 2 playoff holes. I made 2 pars. And then he birdied the second playoff hole to win, which hurt a lot. But fair credit to him. He played unbelievable golf that week to get the job done, which opens a lot of doors for him. And obviously, yes, looking back at it afterwards, I remember that few hours afterwards, obviously you're feeling a lot of hurt and kind of maybe what did I do? What could I have done differently? But just to even have the opportunity to put myself in a position like that was really cool. And then it also opened a lot of doors for me the rest of the year.
Yeah, what was the sense of feeling when it came to like the messages of support and stuff? I take it you got a lot of messages of support, even in defeat as well.
Yeah, I did, because obviously I was South African playing in South Africa, so I had a lot of people support me out there the whole day, and then even in the playoffs as well, a lot of people were rooting for me to kind of win, because it was cool to a South African that wins in South Africa, almost on home soil, if you will. So that would have been a really cool thing to have, but to experience kind of a lot of people cheering for you and kind of getting you going was also feeling the adrenaline rush and stuff was super cool, because you don't get you can't get exposed to that as much as you like to until you're actually in the moment. You'd like to think, okay, yeah, you can practice as intensely as you get, but nothing compares you to the kind of in battle while you're going at it.
Yeah. I just want to kind of take it back to the start for you now. And so how, at what age was it that you kind of discovered golf? And I take it was always a first love when you kind of discovered the game?
Yeah, so it was when we moved to Aberdeen. I think my parents told me I played when I was like 1 or 2 years old, kind of hitting the ball around the house and stuff. I played other sports in school, rugby, cricket, all those stuff. But when we moved over to Aberdeen, my dad asked me one day, kind of what sports would you like to do? And I don't know, for some reason, something told me in my head golf. he was like, really? I was like, yeah, I want to get into golf. And I haven't played in 5-6 years since I was a toddler. So then kind of getting into it, I remember my first handicap was actually a 48 before they actually limited it to 36. So my first handicap was a 48. I could barely hit the golf ball, but ever since that first day, what's the saying? The golf bug bit me hard, big time. I mean, I was obsessed from that first day, trying to learn how to get better, watching videos of Tiger swing and all that, watching golf any minute I can, waking up before school in the dark with my dad. We put a net up in the back garden, had a little 5-6 feet putting mat in my room, and just non-stop, before school, after school, till it got dark, and did that every day for well, my whole life. So it was cool to kind of experience that level of passion and obsessiveness, if you want to call it, at such a young age, because the golf bug bit me and still does every day, to be able to kind of do this as a job and as a dream.
And when it came to your amateur stuff, so did you go to university or that at all?
I went to Florida State in the US for a semester, and then I unfortunately injured my shoulder while I was there, and then decided to redshirt, which basically means you take up another year. Instead of doing 4 years, you do 5 years. Then came home, and then COVID happened, and they basically weren't playing any tournaments or any golf. And then kind of spoke to my mum and dad, and then decided to kind of give professional golf a go and turn pro. When was that? June of 2021 in the UK, and then started to play on the Europro.
Oh, nice. And obviously, we'll go into a couple of your amateur highlights, but you're a two-time Jacques Leglise participant with the Great Britain and Ireland team. 2017, and you managed to win in 2018 as a team. And then obviously the 2018 Junior Ryder Cup team as part of Team Europe, where you narrowly lost 12.5 to 11.5 to the US team in Paris. I mean, just looking at some of the players that you played with in that Junior Ryder Cup team, I mean, you got the Hojgaard twins, you got David Puig, you got Edouard Rousseau as well. I mean, on the US side, you got Akshay Bhatia and Michael Thorbjornsen and Ricky Castillo, who are all PGA Tour card holders now. First of all, what was that kind of experience like in Paris? And then obviously to get to play with to get to play with the Hojgaard twins, were they as good as what they are like back then as well?
Yeah, they were 100%. We probably started playing junior golf against each other when because we're basically the same age. I think we're like 6 months apart or something. But when we were all 15 years old, when we kind of did like the Spanish amateur, and when they would come over for British Am, and Lytham Trophy and all that type of stuff. So, but yeah, they were much better than a lot of us. I mean, they hit the ball so much further than everybody else. It was ridiculous at the time. And they were always ranked quite high in the WAGA, the World Amateur Golf Ranking as well. So it was always intimidating to kind of play against them and stuff. But I got to kind of know them very well during the Junior Ryder Cup. And that was a cool experience to kind of play with them on the same team and kind of do a lot of junior golf and amateur golf with them, and then to kind of see what they've done in their careers in the last, 6 years now, almost 7 years. It's really, really cool. And someone like Akshay Bhatia, we've known each other since we were 12 years old, playing golf in America on the US kids and stuff like that. We always travel together. Like our dads know each other very well. They still talk almost daily to each other, and to kind of see what he's done as well. I think he's won twice on the PGA Tour. He's played in all the majors. I think he made the Tour Championship, FedEx Cup. So to kind of grow up with him as well, playing junior golf, and then to see what he's done as well is cool, and also inspiring to kind of see, look, we were practicing together and living together, and it is possible to kind of achieve that dream to get to where we all want to be on the PGA Tour and compete against the best players in the world in major championships and that. So it was super cool to kind of grow up with them and kind of see what they've done, and hopefully I can match them one day, or get to the same point as where they are.
I mean, for the and still going on with the Ryder Cup, actually, sorry, like I didn't actually realise that you had like the extremely talented ladies there as well. I mean, you had like two of the best amateur players that were possibly in history, in Rose Zhang and Ingrid Lindblad, both on that, but both in that same kind of Ryder Cup, like on opposing opposition. You had like the likes of Emma Spitz, you had the likes of Annabelle Fuller, Alexa Pano, Yillimino, and Lucy Lee as well. What was that like? Obviously, to play with. So obviously, you were on the European side. Was there much hype? Was there much hype in 2018 with the likes of like Ingrid Lindblad and Rose Zhang at the time?
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, from both sides, whether it's American or European or male or female, both teams were extremely stacked to kind of see what they've all done since then. It's actually, I think it's probably one of the strongest teams that's probably ever been. Kind of to see what they've done, not only on the male and female side. So that was cool. But to kind of obviously we always like on the golf course, we're always kind of competing as hard as we possibly can. But the minute we're off the golf course, the functions we had, kind of going to Disney World together, all that stuff. So kind of getting to know everybody on a off the golf course side of things was also really, really cool. I think it's a tournament that we will all remember for the rest of our lives, kind of being, whether you're an American or European, to be a part of together was super cool.
And is there anybody out of the group? It could be absolutely anybody that you still kind of keep in contact with today. I mean, you kind of mentioned Akshay like about 2 minutes ago, but is there anybody else that you kind of like maybe keep in contact every so often?
To be honest, not too much. We've all kind of gone kind of our separate ways on different tours, different levels. Um, so yeah, not too much, but it's cool to kind of, as I said before, see kind of how everybody's done since then, since we were all kind of in that Ryder Cup teams together, to kind of see the progression, whether it's on the LPGA, LTA, or PGA Tour, European Tour level.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you actually won on the MENA Tour in 2019 as an amateur as well at the 2019 Journey to Jordan too. You actually won by 8 in that tournament to Jack Floyd. Do you think that, did you think that it was possible to kind of win that early on, like even as an amateur back then?
No, not at all. The only reason why we played that tournament, because obviously it's a professional golf event, so the ranking points as an amateur is a lot more than what we'd normally play. So I was just trying to kind of up my world ranking as much as I possibly can, maybe playing a few kind of mini tour events, and then luckily enough, I was able to win that event, and to win by 8 was super cool. And to get exposed to kind of playing golf for the Middle East, because I've never done that before. And then obviously playing on the MENA Tour. I mean, I've played so many different tours in my career. I played MENA Tour, Sunshine Tour, Asian Tour, Challenge, DP, Euro Pro, you name it. I've played kind of all over the world, if you will, and luckily enough to get exposed to different climates, different grasses, different opponents, all that. Because I mean, if you want to be successful as a pro, you're gonna have to learn to travel. That's not only kind of traveling in general, and then golf travel, learning to, can you play good golf in the UK, and then can you go to Europe? Can you go to the Middle East? Can you go to America? Can you go to South Africa and still play at that level? Because if you don't, then all the guys is gonna overtake you. So I was lucky enough to get exposed to that as an amateur, and then early enough as a pro.
Obviously, you just mentioned there about how you played all over the world. Is there a specific region or a specific country that you enjoy more than most?
Um, Not really. I mean, I'm gonna be biased now, but the Sunshine Tour is really, really good. The money's not fantastic, especially if you're coming from Europe to South Africa, kind of from euros, pounds into rands. But the exposure you get from, I think we played 31 tournaments last year. In the year, you get 10 co-sanction events. That gives you the opportunity to go to Europe. The travel is obviously a lot easier. You're just traveling in South Africa. The flights, you can also drive everywhere if you want to. Things are a lot cheaper. But the traveling is a lot simpler than in Europe, where you're going to different countries, different languages. Like, you're not exposed to that. as much here in South Africa. So it's, yeah, but as I said, I was lucky enough to be able to play on so many different tours and then kind of see how my game matches in the different parts of the world, different grasses and climates and all that. And I think I've done fairly well for myself.
Going back to this year's kind of form. So, like as I was saying, on the DP World Tour, you managed to get quite a few invites into events, and I believe you've made the cut in every single one of them, which, as I say, is very impressive going. I mean that includes like playing the likes of the Czech Masters, where you finished tied 12th, or you finished 4th at St Andrews. For the Alfred Dunhill Links in a high class field, and then you managed to get to play Le Golf National at the Open de France. Was there any standout moment in these limited like DP World Tour events that you kind of enjoyed the most? I mean, I imagine obviously the second at the SDC Championship. Obviously, we've alluded to it already, but that must have been up there. But I take it tied 4th at St Andrews for the Alfred Dunhill Links was right up there.
Yeah, no, definitely. Obviously, I have that second place at the SDC, which was a co-sanctioned event, but definitely the biggest one was Alfred Daniel, not only because of the actual tournament and playing at the Old Course, Carnoustie and Kings Barnes, but the field as well, to be able to warm up next to Brooks Koepka and Rahm and Rory, kind of major champions that you've watched kind of your whole life kind of do incredible things, to be able to hit balls next to them and then see, not only that, to see your name alongside them on the leaderboards is really, really cool to kind of see kind of that circle kind of complete of the little kid watching them grow up. I want to be like him. And then when you get the opportunity you do to perform the way I did that week, it's pretty, really cool. And it's opened up a lot of doors for me this year. I mean, as I said before, I earned my card through the Sunshine Tour, through the Challenge Tour, and I earned my card, basically retained my card on the DP World Tour. I think I only played maybe 12 events as well. And to be able to keep my card, I almost qualified for the Abu Dhabi Championship as well, points-wise. So to do it 3 different ways in a single year I think it shows kind of the consistency that I did play throughout all the different tours.
Yeah, and when it comes to Dunhill Links, obviously you played the Old Course at St Andrews, but you play Carnoustie and you play at Kings Barnes. What was there any of the 3 that maybe surprised you the most in terms of like enjoyment?
Yeah, so I've played the St Andrews Links Trophy a couple of times. So I've played St Andrews before as an amateur, and you obviously play it. You've watched the Open there millions of times. You've played there on PlayStation. You know that golf course like the back of your hand. You've had enough exposure to it. But I've never played Kings Barnes and Carnoustie before, and that was super cool. We had really good weather at Kings Barnes, like not much wind. It was blue skies. It was like a perfect links day as you can get, and the course was so beautiful. Like that back 9 along the coast is insane. If anybody ever has the chance to play there, it needs to be on your bucket list. And then obviously getting to play St Andrews twice on the second day, and the last day was super cool. And then Carnoustie was so difficult as well, like as a golf course. Like we didn't have much rough that week because obviously we're playing with amateurs that didn't want to make the course too difficult. But I can imagine when the Open's there and they grow that thick rough, that course seems impossible to play. So that one was really, really cool to experience Carnoustie. But there's nothing like playing on a Sunday at St Andrews where you have the crowd there and everything, and kind of walking up, 16, 17, 18, and you kind of know the history that you're walking on and kind of watching it on TV, and then to be able to get exposed to at a high level to that kind of the TV cameras and people watching and Sunday flags and all that was super, super cool. And to actually birdie the last hole to finish 4th was super cool because the grandstand was pretty full as well, and to have that moment as well, was something I'll never forget.
Did you manage to have any of your family come up to St Andrews on the Sunday and maybe even get a picture on the smoking bridge?
Yeah, I actually had a lot of family there. Obviously, I had my parents. I had my cousin on the bag. I had a couple of my dad's patients that friends. I had some members from my home golf club, Peterborough Milton, come up. I had a very, luckily enough, very good support system that week to kind of push me on for 4 days. So that was really cool. I think from my parents' side to kind of see me grow up and obviously dream about, imagine one day we get to play at St Andrews, the home of golf, and then to play the way I did and to finish as high as I did, and then to have that moment on the 18th hole to be able to birdie it and kind of put my name in front of Rory, Rahm, and Koepka, and not too far away from Hatton as well, was super cool.
Yeah, and then talk us through getting to play. Getting to play 72 holes at one of the toughest courses in Europe, which is Le Golf National. I take it that was an experience.
Yeah, that was. I obviously tried to remember that golf course as much as I could from the Ryder Cup that was in 2018, because we got to watch pretty much all the days inside the ropes. But the course has changed a little bit. We had horrible weather that week. Like, I've never seen so much rain on a golf course. It was insane. Everything was wet. It wasn't fun. But the golf course in general was so tough. Like, there's so much water on that golf course. I can't even describe to you unless you've actually played there. There's almost water on 80% of the holes. All in, like, the fairways are so tight. There's not much, like, the bunkers on Penal. It's just the fairways are super tight and the rough is super thick as well. So to be able to just make the cut there was my goal. Because obviously the week before I did well at the Daniel, but I was still kind of, because when you do well in an event, it takes a lot out of you that probably most people don't realize. You only realize afterwards, like the mental fatigue that you feel afterwards because you've been concentrating for so long. To be able to just kind of get through that week at Le Golf National was really cool.
Can I just talk to you about the 18th hole? Like, is that one of the most daunting holes in certainly Europe?
Yes, 100%. I mean, we're lucky enough that because it rained so much, the fairways were super, like, soft, so you're not getting that hard, firm bounces that you do. But like, you're hitting, probably most guys are not hitting driver. They're probably hitting either 2-iron or 3-wood, because driver brings kind of the water into play. Then you've got, was it 3 bunkers on the right with thick rough? If you hit it in the bunkers with the rough, like, to go for the green, it's either you have to get a really good lie or you're kind of you're rolling the dice on it, because you've got like a 6-5-iron, sometimes 4-iron in your hand coming from there into that pretty much island green. The green is quite big, but just seeing all the water is absolutely terrifying. I think I played it in 2-over par 3, which I'll take. Like, that thing should, like, normally that thing, it would be a good par 5 if they put maybe even 20 yards on it. It would be a really good par 5. But as a par 4, it's, especially when you're coming down the last few holes with the lead, like, that is as tough as you can get.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it played host to the Olympics in the summer as well, and like, that 18th hole for the women's side was turned into a par 5 as well. So obviously, when it's a par 4, that makes it 10 times tougher.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so last week you started your DP World Tour season. Your first event as a full-time member in Brisbane at the BMW Australian PGA Championships, and you were saying off there that the jet lag was a killer, basically.
Yeah, it's my first time that I've traveled kind of that far regarding time zone perspective. Yeah, it was. I knew the jet lag was going to affect me, but I thought it was going to take me maybe 2-3 days to get over, but it took me a good 5 days to actually get proper sleep during the night, not waking up 1 o'clock in the morning wide awake, or trying to fight falling asleep at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Fall asleep, then you're 1-2 o'clock, you're up in the morning, and then that's going to obviously affect the round, especially if you're teeing off in the afternoon, like 11, 12, 1 o'clock. Like, you're going to feel tired by the time you tee off. So that was definitely an experience to deal with. I didn't play too great. Fortunately missed the cut by 2 there, but just the experience to be able to go to Australia, like getting used to the different grasses and stuff over there, and the golf course was difficult, but hopefully it will help me one day when I do go back there in tournaments as well, because I believe the Olympics is in 2032 at that same golf course as well. So hopefully that will be something I can take part in. But yeah, it was an amazing experience to be able to kind of tick my bucket list off to go to Australia. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to the rest of the season.
Yeah, and like I was kind of touching briefly when it comes to like traveling around the world for golf. You don't actually get to see much in terms of like city life, etc. But I believe you were staying not too far away from the centre of Brisbane.
Yeah, the hotel location wasn't too bad from Brisbane, the middle of Brisbane, and Brisbane isn't like a big city. It's not like a London or something like that. So to kind of travel around and get to see things is a lot easier. So yeah, I was able to do that, but you don't really get a lot of time to do that on tour because you're so busy with traveling, with practice, with preparation, and then actually playing. You don't have the energy after all that to still go sightseeing and that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so obviously we've got the South African swing coming up. We've got Sun City, we've got Leopard Creek. I take it Leopard Creek, obviously as a South African, is one of the best courses in the world for you.
Yeah, 100%. If you are able to play Leopard Creek, it's up there with one of the best in the world. Needs to be on your bucket list. Like that whole place is just insane. Like the condition of it, it looks like carpet everywhere. Like no matter the weather or anything or any time of the year you play, that place will be immaculate. And it's always has a good strong field as well. And then next week I'm playing Sun City, the Nedbank Golf Challenge as well, which will be super cool. I've played obviously a few Sunshine Tour events there, so I'm familiar with the golf course. Was lucky enough to actually play with Gary Player. What was that, 2 weeks ago, to kind of pick his brain on kind of the design of the course and kind of what he has planned in the next coming years for the Nedbank, how like different changes like he wants to do, and pick his brain on kind of how his life has been in practice and fitness and all that. So that was a really nice experience. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next few weeks, the Nedbank, the Alfred Daniel, and then the Mauritius, which ends in Christmas. So yeah, it's 3 courses that I've played before, so hopefully I can have some good results.
Yeah. And obviously, to see the likes of Max Homer coming back to defend, I take it would be interesting to maybe compare each other's games.
Yeah, any time you get to play with the guys that you watch each and every week, whether it's on the DP, whether it's on the PGA Tour, whether it's in major championships, it's always exciting. So hopefully I can play some good golf that week, and hopefully we can put ourselves in a position on Sunday where we'll be up there on the leaderboard and give it a shot.
So, what's your so for the next 3 events, 2 in South Africa and 1 in Mauritius? Like, obviously, it's your first full season on the DP World Tour. So, what's the realistic kind of targets and goals for yourself, especially over this next few weeks?
Next week, it's just trying to put myself obviously in a position on the Saturday and Sunday to win the golf tournament. That's always the mindset that every golfer goes into each week. Obviously, as I said, I'm familiar with the golf courses. I've played them enough times to feel comfortable. So hopefully I can kind of build on past kind of experience there, and then hopefully have some good success. But yeah, just gonna try and enjoy it as much as possible. Like it's exciting. Like someone had told me at the start of this year you'd be playing a full season on the DP World Tour next year, I would have honestly never believed you. Not that I didn't have belief or faith in myself. I just didn't think it would happen so quickly. So to play the level of golf that I have played this year, to be exposed to that next year's or this rest of the year and next year is going to be super fun. To play kind of the biggest events that the DP World Tour have to offer, to play against the best players in the world is going to be something really exciting. But there's a lot of hard work that I'm going to have to do, a lot of sacrifice, kind of keep my head down, and hopefully it will be a good, successful season.
So, in terms of your current category for the DP World Tour, I take it I think it's just a case of you're going to play quite a lot of events, but like in terms of like say the Rolex events like the Scottish Wentworth etc. I take it's going to be you're going to need to at least get a win or a few top fives to try and get it in.
Yeah, correct. To get into those events, I'm gonna have to play some seriously good golf. I think, well, obviously, if you win, kind of winning takes care of everything. I'll be able to play those. So hopefully, I can do that early enough in the season, then don't have to worry about trying to get into those. But yeah, let's see how the season goes. Hopefully, we'll play a few Rolex events. That will be a nice experience to be able to be a part of, and obviously test the game against those great players.
Yeah, and I take it a realistic goal for you for next season is definitely to keep your card, but basically keeping your card and then anything else is an added bonus, I guess.
Yeah, that's always everybody's goal at the start of any season, but especially as a rookie, like the main thing is you just want to keep your card. If you keep your card, then it's been a successful year. I've never traveled as much as I'm going to next year. I've never played as much golf as I'm going to next year. So gonna test myself mentally and physically and my game as well to see how I can kind of manage that for a whole season. And then obviously the golf level needs to go up 100 times just to make the cut against these guys. So hopefully I'll be able to do that. And then obviously, yeah, keep the card. If we can get into a position where we can make Abu Dhabi Championship or Rookie of the Year, that's kind of bonuses. But yeah, it's just to keep the card will be a massive bonus for me.
Yeah. And when it comes to like the traveling side of things, well, especially for like next year, when you're going to so many countries, etc., is there like a specific group of people that maybe that you're going to try and travel with, like when it comes to like maybe the South Africans, say the likes of Ryan or Dion or like players like that have recently come onto the DP World Tour. You got the likes of like Brandon Stone, etc. as well. Is there anybody that you kind of like perhaps like just like we'll just travel together?
Yeah, you see it on any tour. Kind of the countries stick together. The Spanish will stick with the Spanish. The South Africans will stick with the South Africans. The English will stick with the English. Just because it's a lot easier, like the comfortable level of it. Because most of the guys would have played either junior, amateur, or mini tours with each other, so they're familiar with each other. So yeah, definitely there will be some times that you'll either travel with different guys, maybe even share accommodation, share rental cars and stuff, just to make it easier. Because like professional golf can get really really lonely, and so to have kind of guys that you're comfortable with that you can practice and kind of support as well each other will be really cool. So yeah, we'll definitely tick those boxes with a couple of guys.
Yeah. Okay. So I believe I heard on one of the other podcasts that you done that basically you were kind of like helping out, kind of funding out for players that weren't quite getting like the kind of financial backing. Is that right?
Yeah, so we did that when I got my card on the Sunshine Tour. Because there's a lot of guys, especially in the non-white side of things here in South Africa, that just don't have the finances to even get a rental car or get accommodation. Some of them have to sleep in their cars, can't have practice rounds, don't have money to pay for caddy or food or that. So me and my dad, we came up with kind of a foundational initiative, if you will, to kind of help those guys, whether it's with flights, whether it's with caddies, whether it's so they can just take the stress off worrying about other things, where you're going to sleep, can you get to an event, will you be able to eat today, so they can just focus on their golf. Because luckily enough, we were in a position that we could help and kind of give back. And I always promise myself, like as a kid, if I am ever in a position where I'm able to give back to others that are less fortunate and less blessed that I've been in my life, then I'll try to do as best as I can. And luckily enough, we were able to, I think, help between 10 and 15 guys, and most of them kept their cards, made first cuts in their entire lives, were able to kind of make a life out of professional golf, which is cool to see, kind of not changing their lives, but giving them an opportunity, or the same opportunity that I have, to be able to pursue this as a job and as a dream.
So I kind of like so I'm just gonna kind of finish with a few like basic questions. Like obviously when it comes to sporting allegiances, like obviously you're South African and but you grew up in like the UK. Like when it comes to like sporting allegiances, when you do get the chance to watch, I take it you're more of a South African. Well, you cheer on South Africa.
Yeah. Since I'm playing under the South African flag, I try to support them as much as I can. So yeah, that's the best way I can I can say that.
Yeah. Is is your dad anti-South African? Is that right? It's
He is.
like when it comes to sports, at least.
Yeah, when it comes to sports, that's just how it's been when he was growing up. He never supported South Africa. It was always kind of any team that wasn't South Africa. Just how the kind of the system and the environment that back then, being a non-white in South Africa was. But I don't know if that's changed since I now play under the South African flag. I'm not really sure. That's something I'm gonna have to ask him again when I see him.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I believe you're a big Formula One fan as well.
Yes.
Have you? I take it. Well, I take it. Lewis Hamilton is obviously one of your kind of role models as well. Like obviously the success that he's had, especially being obviously, what is he? I take it he's the only non-white. Is that right? And
Yeah. I mean, I'm not 100% familiar with Formula One history, but I'm pretty sure he's the only non-white ever to kind of be
yeah.
in a Formula One car and to kind of see the history that he's made and all the records broken and stuff. I'm Let's rather say me and my dad's a big Lewis Hamilton fan.
Yeah, and is there a specific like constructor team that you like? Like it could be Mercedes, could be McLaren, could be Ferrari, whatever.
I mean, because Lewis has been with Mercedes for so long, obviously we are Mercedes fans. But I think I'm not sure what my dad's going to do. But I watch Formula One for Lewis, so when he switches to Ferrari next year, I guess I'm going to have to buy a Ferrari shirt.
No, that's fair. I take it you buy all the merchandise as well, yeah.
Not a lot, but yeah, I do have a few T-shirts and hats and stuff. Because we've been to a few Grand Prix, a couple Silverstones, and I believe one Spanish Grand Prix. But this was years ago when Fernando Alonso was still in Ferrari. So yeah, we were able to experience those things as well.
Yeah, and maybe one day you'll get to meet Lewis. You never know.
Oh wow, that would that would be yeah, pinch me moment. That yeah, he's definitely on my bucket list of guys that if I'm able to meet him one day, just to kind of say thank you to him for inspiring not only me but so many other kind of non-white guys in sport to pursue their dream, no matter the obstacles and stuff, to kind of go after what you want to achieve in life and work as hard as you possibly can. So yeah, it's definitely up there with kind of obviously meeting Tiger. He's definitely up there for me.
Yeah, and when it comes to like obviously you met Tiger already, but like when it comes to meeting Tiger or meeting Lewis, like who are you gonna most be nervous about meeting?
I think it has to be Tiger because obviously, yes, it's the golf side, and I've looked up to. I mean, the amount of YouTube videos I've watched growing up of him either when he was an amateur or when he first came out on tour and analyzing his swing and trying to putt like him and trying to use the same grips and head covers and stuff like that, wear the same clothes as him. So, I mean, I've idolized the guy, so definitely it will be the Tiger situation, but I'm pretty sure I'll be shaking when I meet Lewis one day, hopefully.
And is there a specific sporting team that you've kind of grew up with? It could be any sport, like it could be rugby union, could be football, whatever.
I don't watch a lot of rugby, to be honest. I've played rugby in school, but I'm not into it as much. I used to watch football a lot, but unfortunately, I'm a Chelsea fan, so I think that says enough that I haven't been watching a lot of football the past few years, just from the state of the team. Um, but yeah, and yeah, as I said, unfortunately, I'm a Chelsea fan since I could walk. My dad was always a fan, so watching it as well. So I kind of just followed in his footsteps. If he was a Chelsea fan, I was a Chelsea fan. Once the blue, always the blue, I guess. So yeah, hopefully they could turn it around in the next few years and become a decent team. But at the moment, I think everybody who's a Chelsea fan and a Manchester United fan is not very happy.
I was going to say maybe not an Aberdeen fan, though.
No. I did get a T-shirt, a football T-shirt when we still lived in Aberdeen, but I'm not sure where that T-shirt is now. But I think we went to go watch maybe one game, but wasn't a big fan. I'd rather say it like that.
I mean, I don't blame you. Scottish football is absolutely terrible, mate. Like seriously terrible. So I just kind of want to finish it with, so like, obviously, is there a specific like maybe foundation or legacy that you want to leave for like the future of South African golf?
I think it's pretty much just what me and my dad's doing now, with giving back to the less fortunate, to be able to open doors for them to play golf, because especially as a junior, when you don't have the environment or the finances to get into the sport, you think the first step is the sport's too expensive, it's too difficult, and then the doors just shut. And so to be able to kind of bridge that gap, to be able to give them access to playing golf, and then from there, what they want to do with it, they can do what they want with it. But just to give back to the guys that are less fortunate, to be able to just play the sport, it would be a definite goal of mine, and to be able to inspire kind of the next generation of non-white South Africans to kind of say, look, instead of kind of just focusing on kind of playing here locally in South Africa, you can stretch to abroad in Europe and America, and hopefully I can inspire those guys to do the same.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds like a sound plan. Right, guys, if you enjoy of the Chasing Past Golf podcast, be sure to download on Podbean and all other service providers, and also be sure to like, rate, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, which gives us a big boost in terms of like the popularity and stuff. And on that note, Robin Tiger Williams, I'm actually getting right this time. Not in the first 10 seconds, but this time I
did. No, thank you for having me, Craig. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed kind of speaking with you and kind of sharing my story. And hopefully we can have another chat one of these days, and hopefully we can say it as either DP World Tour winner or something like that. But yeah. And then hopefully maybe one day have a round of golf together as well. That would be cool.
Wow, you're definitely taking your life into your own hands there, man. Like, I could be up there with one of the worst golf players you've probably ever seen, to be fair. But no, definitely in terms, like, I've always been intrigued by South Africa, especially like either Cape Town or like the Western Cape. I mean, I managed to speak to the likes of Martin Vorster and players like that, Ryan van Velsen. It seems to be a good hotspot of courses in South Africa. So yeah, maybe get to South Africa one of these days. You never know.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Right, Robin, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on, and I wish you all the best in your hunt for success in 2025. Hopefully you can keep your card, mate.
Yes. No, thank you very much, Craig. I really, really appreciate it, and thank you for having me.
All the best, pal. Have a good one.
All right. See you. Thank you.